Welcome back to your live virtual classes. So we are here today doing paper 1 foundation accountancy, and in that we are in module number 2, chapter number 11. Okay, company accounts is what we started with the last class. I hope you people would have gone through the entire session, sat down and worked out the sums that I've asked you to do it as homework. Illustration number 5. People remember? So we started off with issue of shares. So shares first will be issued by a company to raise money. That is why we call that money that is raised by the issue of shares as share capital. Now, after we get that money inside, or at the time of asking money from the shareholders, what is the accounting treatment? So, the entire company accounts, it talks basically about passing journal entries. Madam, iska to kuch balance sheets P&L nahi. Extract can be asked in few questions, but technically, you people should be well aware with how to pass the journal entries. That is the basic first step. Okay, how to pass the journal entries. So in this, we just started with first thing is what is share capital. It means that you hold a share in the money that is raised by the issue of shares is share capital. Okay, what is a share? So when you are holding a share, it means that you are holding a portion of the company's capital. So shares can be of two types: equity shares and preference shares. When I talk about equity shares, when you subscribe to equity shares, you become the owners of the company. So why you call owners? Because you are given the voting rights with respect to that particular business which the company is handling. When I talk about preference shareholders, they don't have the voting rights, but here they have a preference. As their name suggests, they have preference over the equity shareholders in two things. One is while distributing the dividend. What is dividend? Like when you take a bank loan, you are supposed to repay back the interest to them. The same way, if you're taking money from the people in the form of issuing shares, you have to give something in return. So a share in your profits that is redistributed to the shareholders is called as dividend. So shares against that return is always called as dividend. When the company has profits and the company decides to give it to the shareholders, the first preference will always go to the preference shareholders. And next, while at the time of liquidating the company, when you want to or when you have to repay back the capital that is given by these people, the first preference there also goes to the preference shareholders, and then only it comes to the equity shareholders. So equity shareholders, then why I will take? Because you get a voting right and you become the owner of the company. So these are the two things that we saw. And after that, we purely went into equity shares. So if you ask me, madam, what about preference shares? Preference shares ka, yes, there it is there. But the point here is preference shares, the word equity, if you replace and write preference, that is enough. Rest everything, the accounting treatment will remain the same as it is. So first let us learn about completely how we are going to do it for equity shares. Okay. Now in the capital itself, when you are issuing equity shares and then raising money through that, it is called as equity share capital. Okay. So when I talk about equity shares or equity share capital, the capital can be divided into different forms. Okay. The first one is the authorized, registered, or the nominal capital. The total money that is required by the company during the lifetime for conducting various processes is called as the authorized capital, and this is the maximum limit. Madam, can we not increase the authorized capital? Yes, you can do it. In the board in the board meeting, you will have to pass a special resolution to amend the articles of association, and then you can do it accordingly. But technically, for you people to understand, authorized share capital is that share capital which is the maximum limit which the company needs. The amount, suppose I say a company needs 10 lakh rupees. So when you're talking while I have to issue shares, there will always be a value that is fixed for each share. This value is called as the face value, par value, or the nominal value. So suppose if I say 10 lakh rupees I need, but I'm going to issue one share with a face value of 10 rupees, how many shares should I issue? The number of shares becomes 1 lakh. 1 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. That is the total put together. I will be getting 10 lakhs. This is the authorized. And with that, from that, we have issued share capital. Out of the entire 1 lakh shares, the company might not need the money immediately. So out of it, it can just issue 80,000 shares to the public. The amount or the number of shares that the company issues to the public is called as the issued capital. Once after the company has issued it, who has to react? Obviously, the public. The people have to accept or they have to do a process called as when they are accepting, it's called as subscribing. Okay. So here, when the company issues and the people or the public react to that, it is called as subscribed capital. Sometimes there can be cases where I issue 80,000 shares, I receive 80,000 shares. It is a normal subscription, no problem. But when I issue 80,000 shares, I only receive, let us say, 75,000 shares. Whatever you have issued, subscribed is lesser than that. So this is called as under subscription. Whenever there is a question or whenever you get something like this as under subscription, very importantly, what you should do, you should check for the condition of minimum subscription. The SEBI has brought in regulations which state clearly that if you have to protect the investors, the amount that is required by the company should be received in full. If you are receiving less than that amount, then you cannot continue with the business. Here it puts a condition stating that whatever shares are being issued, 90% of it should have been received. So this 90%, 10% ka relaxation it is giving you. It says even 10% you have not received, that's okay. But majorly 90% of the shares issued should have been subscribed. If that is happening, then go ahead with the issue. Otherwise, no. Whatever money you have collected, you have to refund it back to the particular, to the shareholders within the time limit. So this is very, very important. Okay. So that is one point. So whenever there is an under subscription, you people have to check for whether the minimum subscription condition is satisfied or not. So one of the illustrations we have seen, illustration number 4. So first thing, how much is issued? In that 90%, how much shares are coming? If you have received in the question more than that, then proceed with the question. No, madam, I've received less than that. Then simply go and write a note that you cannot proceed because the minimum subscription condition is not satisfied. Now, there can be another case where I have issued 80,000 shares, but I get the overwhelming response. Everybody wants to take my shares because I have a very good name in the market. I get a subscription for 85,000 shares. So, excess 5,000 shares, what should I do? Any prudent person can do the following. The business can reject it completely. 5,000 shares is excess. I cannot allocate it or I cannot do a pro rata. I don't want to have that headache. Take back your money. So, I will reject it. No, no, no. I will take it completely. Whatever is there, the excess money, I will adjust it towards allotment. I can do that. Or I can partly. 2,000 shares I can reject, 3,000 shares I can accept. This is what I was telling about. Accepting means pro rata allotment. So that is with regard to issued capital and subscribed capital. Then came your called up and paid up capital. Very important concepts because SEBI has told, Madam, the face value is 10 rupees only. You cannot collect entire 10 rupees in one lot. This is to protect the interest of the shareholders. When money is given at one particular installment to the company, sometimes it will not know what to do with the entire money. It will be parking at some other account. So, in order to avoid the divergence of funds, you ask money whenever you need it. That's all. So, this 10 rupees should be split into a minimum of two installments, with the first installment name called as application money, second one called as allotment. And after allotment, you can have any number of calls: first call, second call, final call, third call, whatever. Okay. So, this is the base in which we have started understanding what is called up capital. When the company calls a particular amount. So if it says after the application, it needs the allotment money, it will write letters to you, it will send emails to your registered email ID, and it will ask that this particular allotment money is due from you and you hold so many shares. Within so and so date, you are supposed to give me the money. Okay, so this is called as called up. Paid up is what the shareholders pay in return. You mean to say then there might not be somebody who will not pay? Yes, there can be cases where sometimes the shareholders might default in the payment of that call. So they will be treated as calls in arrears. We saw this concept. But sometimes there are few shareholders, they want to make payment in advance. I am asking for allotment money, but I will pay the future calls amount also now itself because if I have money, I will spend it for something else. Let me put the money here and lock it. So this concept of payment in advance is treated separately called as calls in advance account. And this particular concept also we have seen clearly when we started doing. So the capital authorized, issued capital, subscribed capital, called up capital, and paid up capital. Very, very important. Okay. And there is a concept of reserve capital. Okay. So what is reserve capital? So when you are driving a vehicle, there used to be this reserve when it used to come into the reserve. So the meaning is it's just showing you a warning sign that the petrol is about to get completed and you people have to go and finish. The same way when I talk about reserve capital in the form of or in the relevance to Companies Act or Companies Account, it means that a company, the entire 10 lakh, whichever is authorized, a part of it. So let us say 1 lakh rupees, they are not calling up. When will they call up then? They will only use this capital or they will only call up this capital at the time of winding up of the company. Why? To meet the winding expenses. When you want to close down the company, उसके लिए जो कुछ भी liquidation expenses आपको incur करना पड़ता है, that you can always do by issuing or by then you are going to issue this reserve capital. So reserve capital is that portion of the authorized capital which is not called up during the entire lifetime of the company and which is reserved only at the time or for bearing the expenses of the closure or the winding up. Very, very important. इसको हम कहाँ पे शो करते हैं? Nowhere you will show. You will just mention it in the notes to accounts that the reserve capital is so much. Then, madam, I heard about something else called as capital reserve. Yes, capital reserve means that reserve which is created out of the capital profits. When you are going to sell an asset, when you are going to deal with some other, you have received a capital profit. That kind of capital profits will be transferred to capital reserves. But capital reserve को हम कहाँ पे दिखाते हैं? Where should we show it in the balance sheet? We will be showing this in the balance sheet as a part of your reserves and surplus only, and not in the other, not notes to accounts. इसको हम directly we show it in the balance sheet under the liability side, equity and liabilities में उस heading के नीचे reserves and surplus में we show this particular account. Okay. So the difference between reserve capital, capital reserve is not just the change in words, but reserve capital, that portion of the capital not called up when it is called up at the time of winding up of the company. Why? To bear the expenses of the closure or the liquidation of the company. Capital reserve, on the other hand, comes as a part of reserves and surplus. Whatever capital profits that the company is earning should be transferred to this capital reserve, and it is in turn shown in the balance sheet. That's all. These are the two things, and reserve capital is not shown in the balance sheet, but it is shown in the form of a notes to accounts. Okay, so if they are asking you for a 2 mark true or false questions, this can be a probable question from company accounts as well. Yes, and then we started to understand when the shares are issued for cash. उसका मतलब क्या है, madam? Shares can be issued for other than cash also. Yes, that is what we are going to see a little later. First, we are going to talk about issue of shares for cash. In the last class, completely, if you go through and see, the shares can be issued for cash because obviously every business needs money. Correct. So I will issue the shares and I'm going to get the money. Now, this, how will I show it in the entry? I told you company accounts completely. The presentation is your journal entry presentation. In the presentation, you have to be very, very clear and careful. So when you are going to do the journal entry presentation, date column, particulars column, ledger folio, debit amount, credit amount should be there, and then you will start passing. Narration of the journal entry also very, very important. So, madam, when I raise money using the issue of shares, there'll be one single entry. I am getting money inside. So, debit bank account and credit what? Equity share capital. Why? Because that's your liability. You have to repay this back at the time of winding up of the company. But technically, even though owners have contributed, the company being a separate legal entity, which we have seen in the definition of the company, it will still have to treat this amount as an outstanding external internal liability. So this internal still a liability, so it's been credited. So madam, when I have to pass only one journal entry, then why so much? Why bigger presentations I'm doing? Since the SEBI has given clear instructions that the money of 10 rupee, the face value, should not be taken in one installment, it should be split into more than 2 to 3 installments. It becomes very important for you people to pass the entries separately. So this one entry is split into two entries for each installment. What are the two entries? One is the transfer entry, other one is the receipt entry. What is receipt entry? Receipt entry in which bank account is involved. Transfer entry in which the share capital account is involved. That's all. Now, when I start with the application installment, which entry will come first? I clearly told you at the time of application, the company has no idea of who are the shareholders. So first, if you are interested in the shares of the company, you will be giving the money and then giving your details to them, mentioning your expressing your interest in that particular issue. So first, the bank entry. So bank account debit to equity share application will be the first entry. Again, transfer entry should be passed equity share application to equity share capital. When you combine these two entries, the ultimate effect is bank account to equity share capital. But why, madam, you're opening SEBI ka requirement? So first for application, it will always be receipt entry and then transfer entry. After you have given the application money, the company comes to know that these people are your shareholders. It will allot the shares to them. Once after the process of allotment is over, from then, that is from allotment, from first call, final call, always the company believes that the shareholders will give them the money. So first transfer entry will be passed. What is transfer entry? Equity share allotment account to equity share capital. Then bank account debit to equity share allotment. That will be the receipt entry that will come second. So allotment से लेके पहला हम transfer entry को pass करना है, and then only the receipt entry. Why? The logic behind is that already the company knows who are the shareholders. So first it will believe them, transfer the equivalent amount to the share capital, and then it will ask from them. So this is the first entry. This is the first type of question where it was very plain and I explained one particular thing and we did the illustration. Then I introduced the second concept of अंडर सब्सक्रिप्शन. वहां पे मिनिमम सब्सक्रिप्शन का 90% कंडीशन शुड बी satisfied. If that is satisfied, go ahead with the question. but with the lesser number of shares. So shares का number will get changed, and उस less number of shares से लेके the same entries you are going to pass. This is the second concept that I taught you. थर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट ओवर सब्सक्रिप्शन। जब आपको ओवर सब्सक्रिप्शन क्वेश्चन में आता है, यू हैव टू डू टू थिंग्स। कौन कौन सा एंट्रीज विल गेट अफेक्टेड? देर आर थ्री एंट्रीज दैट विल गेट अफेक्टेड। फर्स्ट, एप्लीकेशन का दोनों एंट्री में इफेक्ट है। द फर्स्ट इफेक्ट इज दैट बैंक अकाउंट टू इक्विटी शेयर एप्लीकेशन, यू हैव टू राइट द एग्जैक्ट अमाउंट रिसीव्ड। आप जब एक्सेस वाला, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई से 50,000 शेयर्स आई इश्यूड, आई रिसीव्ड द सब्सक्रिप्शंस फॉर 60,000 शेयर्स, तो पहला एंट्री का अमाउंट यू शुड मल्टीप्लाई विद 60,000 shares only. Why, madam? Because company does not know it is receiving the entire money. Let it receive the entire money. Okay, no problem. First entry, always higher number of shares. Whatever high subscription amount you have received, uske hisab se you should multiply and take that. Now come to the second entry. वो है transfer entry. Equity share application to equity share capital. Whenever there is an oversubscription in the question, I told you the second entry transfer entry, make it a CBA entry. To share capital, to bank, to share allotment. Why, madam, you are writing like this? Because whenever there are excess shares, you can either reject it or you can accept it or you can do both. Okay? आप जब reject करते हो, reject करने का shares into the amount goes to the bank. बैंक क्रेडिट करने का मीनिंग है यू आर रिटर्निंग द मनी। एंड टू शेयर अलॉटमेंट, दो शेयर्स जिसका अमाउंट आपने फ्यूचर एडजस्टमेंट के लिए आपके पास ही रखा है, वेयर दे कॉल एज प्रो रेटा अलॉटमेंट आपने किया है, उस शेयर्स का अमाउंट विल कम इन द शेयर अलॉटमेंट इन द क्रेडिट साइड। सो सेकेंड एंट्री whenever there is an over subscription will change into a compound entry। उसमें जस्ट ओनली इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल को क्रेडिट मत करना, दो और अकाउंट, बैंक अकाउंट एंड शेयर अलॉटमेंट को भी आप क्रेडिट करना है। Then when you come to the next allotment में transfer entry, there is no change. But when you come to the receipt entry, what happens? Already you have collected some amount in the second entry. उसको third entry से deduct करने के बाद remaining amount alone I am going to write in the receipt entry. So this becomes very important. In तीनों entry, application का दो entry and allotment का receipt entry, you should be very careful when you are doing a oversubscription question. Okay, madam. So these three things I understood. Now let us come to the next concept of securities premium. When the company has got very good name in the market, the investors don't mind paying extra amount to get the shares of the company. Over and above the face value, whatever amount is being taken by the company, it comes under premium. And it should not be shown along with the share capital, but it should be shown with a separate account called as the securities premium account. As per section 52 of the Companies Act, ये securities premium में जो amount आप accumulate किया है, उसको you can use it only for 5 purposes. One, for issuing fully paid up bonus shares. Bonus shares के बारे में we are going to do it in the next chapter. And then for buying back its own securities from the market, to write off the preliminary expenses of the company that you have incurred, or while you're issuing preference shares and debentures, on that if any underwriting commissions and expenses are payable, you can use the amount from the securities premium. And finally when you're going to redeem, आप जब उसको repay करते हो preference shares यानी debentures, जिसके बारे में हम we are going to read, okay, the next upcoming chapters, there will be expenses that you are incurring like premium on redemptions and all of that, that also can be taken from the securities premium account. In पांचों के लिए ही you can take, but not apart from that. You cannot set off the other losses, that and all you cannot do with the securities premium account. So securities premium जब question में आता है, when you are going to read, presentation changes. So 50,000 shares at 10 rupees plus 2. So 12 rupees is the total issue price. इसको जब हम allotment or we are going to split it in the installments, we have to clearly see where the premium amount is collected. Usually if no information is given to you, then it will be collected along with the allotment. So जब वो allotment के साथ collect होता है, आप क्या करना है? वो allotment के पैसे में whatever total amount, you are supposed to open the bracket. Why are you opening the bracket and showing two different amounts? Because you need to understand what is the face value and इसमें कितना premium है. When you separate it and understand, आप जब entries को pass करते हो, face value always you will take it to the share capital, premium amount you will always take it to the securities premium. That is why presentation is very important. आप जैसे question पढ़ने से आप construct करते हो आपका answer, passing the entries becomes very easy for you. Okay, so madam, securities premium entry में कहाँ पे आता है? Where will it come? Securities premium, if it is collected with allotment, वो आता है ट्रांसफर एंट्री में शेयर कैपिटल के साइड, बिकॉज दिस इज लाइक अ प्रॉफिट फॉर द कंपनी, सो प्रॉफिट्स हैव क्रेडिट balances, so I will be crediting it. So it will be equity share allotment account debit to equity share capital to securities premium. Share capital always the face value, securities premium is the premium amount, you have to write it. Okay, clear? And then we went to the next concept, calls in arrears and calls in advance. Calls in arrears वो होता है जब हम कॉल करते हैं बट द शेयर होल्डर डिफॉल्ट, वो पेमेंट नहीं करता है, तो वो लॉस बन जाता है कंपनी के लिए, सो दैट विल बी डेबिटेड. कहाँ पे कॉल्स इन अरियर्स आता है? इन द रेस्पेक्टिव एप्लीकेशन में कॉल्स इन अरियर्स हो सकता है? नो. The answer is, if they're going to ask you a true and false question, there can be call scenarios, or a person or a shareholder can default in the payment of application money. No, because at the time of application, if you want to become the shareholder, you have to give money. If you don't give money, you're not the shareholder. So in application, there cannot be any clause of having call scenarios. So call scenarios start होता है आपके allotment installment से. Okay. Suppose if you are getting call scenarios in allotment, then where will call scenarios account come? In the entry. रिसिप्ट एंट्री में कॉल सिनेरियोस गेट्स डेबिटेड, बिकॉज वो है लॉस, अमाउंट नहीं पे किया है, सो उसके बिना सब्जेक्ट टू दैट द रिमाइनिंग अमाउंट यू आर रिसीविंग. सो प्लीज शो दिस ऑन द डेबिट साइड ऑफ द रिसिप्ट एंट्री ऑफ द रेस्पेक्टिव इंस्टॉलमेंट. What is calls in advance? This is the opposite of calls in arrears. A person, when you ask for allotment money, he is paying you money for the next calls also. Let's say first call, final call, second call, whatever. So whenever you're receiving this money, it should be credited in the respective receipt entries on the credit side. क्यों मैडम इसको हम क्रेडिट कर रहे हैं? Is it like profit for us? No, it's a liability for us. How can you say profit? ये जो कुछ भी पैसा उसने दिया है, they have given you well in advance. But when you are calling, making that call, can you additionally ask money from this person? No. He will say, अरे I have already given to you. So adjust that value. So ये वाला होता है किसी और के पैसा, which is the shareholders money, and till उसका time नहीं आया है. So till then it will be with you as a liability. So show it on the liability side. जब कॉल्स इन एडवांस आता है, यू शुड बी वेरी केयरफुल विथ वन मोर थिंग. अपार्ट फ्रॉम क्रेडिटिंग इट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर कॉल, जब वो कॉल्स को हम कॉल करते हैं, लाइक लेट अस से अलॉटमेंट के साथ फर्स्ट कॉल का पैसा मिला है, सो इन द अलॉटमेंट यू आर गोइंग टू टेक इट, इन द अलॉटमेंट आप रिसिप्ट एंट्री में क्रेडिट किया है इस कॉल्स इन एडवांस को. when the first call is actually made ना, what is the entry or what is the effect you should do? उस फर्स्ट कॉल में रिसिप्ट एंट्री में जाके इस कॉल्स इन एडवांस को डेबिट करना है. क्यों मैडम? बिकॉज द अमाउंट दैट वी अर्लियर कलेक्टेड, अभी वो कॉल हमने कर चुका है, सो आई एम गोइंग टू क्लोज द कॉल्स इन एडवांस अकाउंट एंड शो इट हियर. Okay, so calls in advance का repercussions है. Not only in one entry, it will affect the other receipt entries also, because you are supposed to close the calls in advance account. So आप जिस amount से उसको credit करते हो, उस amount से आप उसको debit भी करना पड़ेगा. But call scenarios account को close करना है, नहीं करना है, because when they pay, then only it will get closed. Until then, call scenarios account will remain as it is. Okay, so here we have also seen, as per the table F of the schedule 2 of the Companies Act, बोला है कि इन्वेस्टर्स को उसके पैसे के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट देना है. सो व्हेन कॉल्स इन एडवांस दे रहा है सम पर्सन, ऑन दैट यू आर सपोज टू पे देम इंटरेस्ट. सो इंटरेस्ट का कितना परसेंट है? एज पर द टेबल F, 12% इंटरेस्ट ऑन कॉल्स इन एडवांस द कंपनी हैज टू पे टू द शेयर होल्डर. बट व्हेन द शेयर होल्डर डिफॉल्ट्स, तो शेयर होल्डर डिफॉल्ट करने के टाइम पे कॉल्स इन अरियर्स के ऊपर भी इंटरेस्ट उनको देना पड़ेगा, बट वो लेसर परसेंट है, 10%. तो कहाँ पे दिया है? इट इज गिवन इन टेबल F. सो आई हैव एक्सप्लेन द कॉन्सेप्ट. सो नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू आर डूइंग द क्वेश्चंस, एक्सप्लिसिटली क्वेश्चन पेपर में आपको 10%, 12%, इवन इफ दे डोंट गिव बट आस्क यू टू कैलकुलेट इंटरेस्ट, रिमेंबर दिस लॉजिक. कॉल्स इन अरियर्स 10%, कॉल्स इन एडवांस 12%. And I've told you what are the entries to be passed also. This is what we did in the last class. Now we'll go to the next concept of forfeiture. Very, very important, my dear students. Abhi forfeiture. What do you mean by forfeiture? Forfeit. Forfeit. Forfeit का meaning है cancel. Forfeit का meaning है cancellation. Okay. Why are you going to cancel? What is it you're going to cancel? The first thing is, whenever a company, why will a company issue shares? It needs money. Okay. So there is one person, one shareholder, he has not paid the allotment money. Immediately when he is not paid the allotment money, immediately you cannot forfeit. You should wait for some time. Again, you should send him notice and ask for the next call money. Suppose next call money also he is not paying. So what is the use? If he is defaulting, he does not have money. Should the company undergo the loss? No, no. So there is a rule which says that you have the rights, the company has the rights, but after giving reasonable amount of time and notice to the defaulting shareholder, even if the shareholder does not pay in spite of so many efforts, then the company can take back the shares from the defaulting shareholders. The process of taking back the shares from the defaulting shareholders is called as forfeiture. Clear? Forfeiture का मतलब है जिन शेयर होल्डर्स डिफॉल्ट कर रहा है बार बार अमाउंट नहीं पे कर रहा है देन व्हाट दे आर सपोज टू डू व्हाट द कंपनी हैज अ राइट टू forfeit और कैंसिल द शेयर्स. जब हम शेयर्स इश्यू किया है एंड वी हैव रेज द मनी, so how did we pass the entry? Bank account debit to share capital account. Correct? Share capital when you issue gets credited. उसी तरह से when you are taking back your shares from that particular shareholder, what will happen to your share capital? In the forfeiture entry, there is only one forfeiture entry. It will be share capital account gets debited. Two, there are two accounts that gets credited. One is the shares forfeited account. The other one is the calls in arrears. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? The total share capital face value 10 rupees will come here. Calls in arrears, of course, let us say 5 rupees he has not paid. The remaining 5 rupees which he has paid will come here in the shares forfeited account. So what does shares forfeited account consist of? The amount the shareholder has paid. Whatever he has paid will come into the shares forfeited account. Whatever he has not paid will come into the calls in arrears account. Being the number of shares, whatever number of shares as per the question forfeited, this will be the entry. One single entry it is. So what is that entry? Share capital will get debited because it is not getting issued, but you're collecting back, taking back, canceling back your shares. So share capital will get reduced. So it will be debited. What are the two accounts that will be credited? One is the shares forfeited. The other one is the calls in arrears. Share forfeited will be credited with the amount that is paid by the shareholder. Calls in arrears with the amount that is not paid by the shareholder. Simple entry. It is a simple entry. Now, my dear students, here there can be two variations. Okay. So nothing will be straight. There can be two variations. Let me tell that in a company, the share capital ka face value is 10 rupees. But the called up value is only 8 rupees. इसका meaning क्या है? वो final call जो कुछ भी है 2 rupees का call नहीं किया है अभी तक. But 8 rupees when they called, this person, let us say, has paid only 3 rupees and he has not paid 5 rupees. So now they take the decision to forfeit it. क्या मैडम ऐसा कर सकते हैं? That is, we should make all the calls and then only know we are supposed to cancel the shares from him. No. Sometimes when he is not paying two installments itself, you can cancel. So let us say this person has paid only application money. Allotment money नहीं पे किया है, first call नहीं पे किया है. So two enough defaults are there, enough time is given. So in between itself, you can forfeit. That is, before I make the 10 rupees call, why should I waste my time? Before I make the final call of 2 rupees, I know this person is not going to pay. So let me beforehand forfeit his shares. उस time पे कैसा बदलता है? What or how the amounts will be changing. So this is when fully called up. Okay. Fully called up meaning क्या है? I have already called up for all the installments together. 10 rupees call up किया है, इसमें 5 rupees नहीं pay किया है, 5 rupees pay किया है, over. But when I am going to call up, called up is only partly called up out of 10 rupees face value. I just made calls for 8 rupees. In the 8 rupees, he paid 3 rupees, he has not paid 5 rupees. So how will this entry change? Entry is going to be the same. Amounts may there will be a change where you debited with 10, debit with 8, and jahan 3 and 5. That's all. The same entry. So here, the first variation I am adding to the question is that whenever the called up value is lesser than the face value, which means that 10 rupees is the actual value. 10 rupees is the actual face value, but usme se I have called up only 8 rupees. I have called up only 8 rupees. That means my question here in the answer for the share capital, the face value or called up value, whichever is less, that becomes the rule here. So I am supposed to consider the share capital value, whichever is less, then I have to take that. Then what about these two? It will be given to you in the question, which is paid, which is unpaid. Uska working note bana do or just write it like this. This is the first variation in the forfeiture entry. Okay, what is the first variation? Please understand. Whenever a company does not fully call up, 10 rupees का full call up नहीं हुआ है, but final call pending है, but even then it wants to go for forfeiture, it can go. When it can go, then what will happen to the entry? Entry वैसा ही it remains, but the amount changes. तो यहाँ पे face value और called up value, whichever is less का principle आपको समझना पड़ेगा. So if the face value 10 rupees, fully called up 10 rupees, so 10 rupees से लेके share capital को debit करते हो. 10 rupees face value, but called up only 8 rupees. Lesser value 8 rupees से you're going to debit the share capital value. That is the variant. Second variant. मैंने I have issued the shares originally at premium and premium collect हो चुका है allotment के साथ और ये वाला शेयर होल्डर allotment में he has defaulted. Condition क्या है? Premium originally should be collected in the question. Okay. And the person should have defaulted in that installment. उसका मीनिंग है प्रीमियम जहां जिस इंस्टॉलमेंट के साथ कलेक्ट होता है यूजुअली इट गेट्स कलेक्टेड इन अलॉटमेंट करेक्ट तो द तो तब if the shareholder is defaulting तो if the shareholder is not making payment of the allotment money क्या होता है उसका default बन जाता है so allotment में premium का collect करना था but this person did not pay the premium so whenever the securities premium is not paid in the question then what happens this is the variant number 2 क्या होता है कुछ भी नहीं सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम को भी आप डेबिट करना पड़ेगा because this is also an amount that the company had to receive but it is not receiving because due to the default of the shareholder so the condition here is if the shareholder has failed to pay the securities premium amount also that also should be debited here. Okay, that also should be debited here. But in some cases, my dear students, the question can say it is issued at premium. Okay, but shareholder allotment का पैसा दे दिया. So when they have given, but उसका calls in arrears हुआ है first call में जहाँ पे premium नहीं है. Already has paid premium in the allotment. तो हम क्या करना है मैडम तो ये वाला condition you are telling when the shares are issued at premium and the person is not paying the premium payment only it has to be debited but in your case premium is collected madam but this person has made the premium ka amount payment kar diya so then it will become a normal question securities premium will not come into the question. Okay, so for you my dear students in a very bigger question jab forfeiture and reissue come together no they will give you two shareholders. One shareholder, he would have defaulted in allotment. The other shareholder would have defaulted in the first call. You should remember the principle. The first shareholder का forfeiture entry में securities premium debit होना है. But second shareholder's forfeiture entry, securities premium should not get debited because उसने तो pay किया है. This is how they will test you the concept. Okay. The first variant you understood. Face value or called up value, whichever is less, I will consider. The second variant is if originally securities premium is issued in the question and the securities premium is not received, and the securities premium is not received, then I will have to, if the securities premium is not received, then I will have to debit it. But if it is collected and received also, don't debit it in the forfeiture entry. Okay, madam, very nice, very good. This is over. Now, what can I do after taking back my shares? So I have taken back the share from the person who is defaulting. But can the company hold the shares? Yes, it can hold the shares. But technically, why should it hold the shares? I can give it to somebody else because my company has a very good name. So people want to buy it outside. So I will once again do the issue. So the second time issue is called as reissue. The shares that you have collected back, cancelled from the defaulted shareholders, collected back your shares. Now you want to issue it to another person, considering that he will make payment. But ultimately, as a company, you want payment. That's all. Who will make it? What is your problem? So then the concept of reissue is going to come. There is only one single entry for reissue also. What is that? Now here, madam, there is no share money, equity, application allotment, first call, final call. No, directly bank account to share capital account. That's all. Always share capital account will be face value. Now there is a concept of the reissue cannot be done at the original face value. Not a rule, but you can say the concept because one time share already purchased by somebody. Now that is taken back and given. So it is dealt like a second hand share and it will always be issued at a discount because company needs money. So it will say that, okay, whoever is there, let me give it at a discount so that people will be encouraged to buy. So always, or in most of the cases, I cannot say always, in the most of the cases, this kind of reissue will be done at a discount. So let us say 10 rupees ka face value, nobody is ready to buy at 10. I am issuing it at 8. So there is a loss, correct? So there is a loss. But this loss is due to whom? This loss has come for us due to the default of the first shareholder. Okay. Now, can you go and ask him to give the money now? No, he will itself say, if I have the money, then why will you forfeit my shares? I would have as well paid you. I don't have money. Why are you asking me the loss? So then what happens? The company already knows in the forfeiture entry, whatever amount he paid, no, at least minimum he'll pay application money. All of you remember, minimum application money will be paid. So against that money, I am going to set off the loss. So shares forfeited account, I am going to set off the loss. तो मैडम, okay, this is forfeiture का entry pass किया है. Then reissue का entry pass किया है. Please write the narration being shares issued at a discount. Whatever discount, number of shares, what is the discount? Mention it here in the narration. Okay, done. Madam, can this be issued even at premium, madam? You are saying discount, but if it is going to be a Reliance share, I want to take it at premium only, no? Yes. So reissues also can be done at premium. उस time पे क्या होगा यहाँ पे 10 rupees share I am receiving 12 rupees here. So what will happen? This side there is no loss, zero. So this side 2 rupees will be taken to securities premium. ओके सो डोंट थिंक इट इज अ हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल मैडम ने बोला है यहाँ पे लॉस ही आना है वही इज इशूइंग एट प्रीमियम नहीं वैसा नहीं है इट कैन बी इशूड मोस्ट केसेस इट विल बी इशूड एट डिस्काउंट बट इन सम केसेस ड्यू टू द गुड नेम ऑफ द कंपनी इट कैन बी इशूड एट प्रीमियम ऑल्सो तब वो प्रीमियम में इश्यू होता है वेर एवर यू सी प्रीमियम जस्ट टेक इट टू सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम okay if not the shares forfeited will always be at a discount or a lesser value only okay so in that case here you will have a loss. Okay, madam. So finally, what has happened? I understand that there is some loss. There is some amount he has paid. तो इसने पे किया है 5 rupees और उसके हिसाब से रीइश्यू के हिसाब से I got 2 rupees as the loss. Now the remaining 3 rupees, it is still there in my shares forfeited account. So where should I show this, madam? It is like a capital profit for you because whoever has defaulted, he has paid excess money, and after the loss also there is some money left with you. So this amount that is pending in the shares forfeited, one final entry you are going to pass and transfer the amount to the capital reserve. So the last entry transfer to capital reserve will be shares forfeited you are going to debit, transfer the amount and close the shares forfeited account to the capital reserve. That is here 5 rupees minus 2 rupees, 3 and 3. Being the amount transferred to the capital reserve will be your narration. Clear? So this is how you will pass your forfeiture entry, one single entry. But when the called up value is less, please consider the lesser called up value and take it. Okay. And then, if there is premium in the question and premium is not paid, then you have to debit the securities premium also. If premium is paid, don't debit the securities premium. Do it as a normal question. And after I collect back the shares, after I cancel the shares, I have all rights to go and do what? To go and issue it to somebody else. When I issue it for the second time, it's called as reissue. Simple entry, bank to share capital. But in most of the cases, it will be issued at a discount. 10 rupees face value, you cannot get 10 rupees. You have to reduce the amount, then only people will buy. So this discount is considered as loss, but the loss is incurred because of the defaulting shareholder. So the defaulting shareholder already had paid some money. So from that only, I'm going to take this loss. So technically, this loss amount should not exceed whatever is there in the shares forfeited. Correct? No. Up to 2 rupees, okay. 3 rupees also loss I can have. 4 rupees also I can have. 5 rupees also I can have. Because up to 5, this is not a loss for me. But if it goes beyond 5 rupees, then what will happen? Why should you issue at a loss? You need not do that. No. So always this amount of the loss will be lesser or equal to the amount collected. Clear? And finally, whatever amount is left out in the shares forfeited, it is a capital profit. And one simple entry you're going to pass and take it to the capital reserve. Okay. Now here, my dear students, there is another variation also, which is most important. Suppose I am forfeiting 10 shares. Okay. And I am reissuing all the 10 shares. Okay. I forfeit 10 shares, I reissue all the 10 shares. Then directly, if I take this credit minus this shares forfeited debit, I will get this amount. But sometimes out of the 10 shares, I am only reissuing 8 shares. I am only reissuing 8 shares. इसको हम बोलते हैं partial reissue. What is partial reissue? You feel that okay, 10 shares मैंने वापस ले लिया, but I need money only for 8 shares now. Remaining 2 shares, when I need the money, I will again reissue. अभी तो मैं I don't want the money. So when this is happening, you should get into a small working note. When this is happening, you should get into a small working note. वो working note क्या है? All of you, please listen carefully. For 10 shares, the total shares forfeited is 5 rupees here. तो 8 shares के लिए कितना है पैसा? So 5 by 10 into 8. It means 4 rupees is the value. Out of 5 rupees, 5 rupees belong to 10 shares. But I need only for 8 shares. Why? Because I am only reissuing 8 shares. Correct? So I am going to find out the shares forfeited credit amount proportionately. क्यों ये पार्ट रीइश्यू इज हैपनिंग ओनली फॉर पार्ट ऑफ द शेयर्स सो अभी 4 रुपीज है इस 5 रुपीज में 4 रुपीज बिलोंग्स टू 8 shares and now the actual loss is only 2 rupees so 4 minus 2 rupees will go to capital reserve. Abhi you understood the difference. If 10 shares forfeited 10 shares reissued subtract this 3 rupees will go to capital reserve. Okay, but now what is happening? No, madam, 10 shares I have forfeited, 8 shares only I have reissued. Make this working note. So, isme se, what is there? Capital reserve mein only 2 rupees is going because entire 5 rupees I cannot take. 5 rupees I convert it. How much for 8 rupees? It shows 4 rupees. So now 2 rupees will go to the capital reserve. Then, madam, one more rupee is there in shares forfeited. No, what will I do? That you will hold it in the shares forfeited account until reissue is done for the 2 shares. जब तक 2 shares का reissue नहीं हुआ है तब तक वो 1 rupee will sit in the shares forfeited. That's all. See, everywhere you go, 3 rupees is the final answer. Okay? Because 5 minus 2, 3 rupees. But in this case, full shares have been reissued, so totally take to capital reserve. In this case, only 8 shares are reissued, so 2 rupees का capital reserve लेके जाओ. Remaining 1 rupee, show it in shares forfeited. Ultimately, it is 3 rupees ka account only we are tallying, but under different heads. That's all. I think this is clear. So these are the different variations, and now we are going to see questions one by one. Yes, just a minute. For feature of shares, we are going to do illustration number 10. I am now sharing my screen. All of you, please see the institute material. A Limited forfeited. All of you please see illustration number 10. A Limited forfeited 30,000 equity shares of rupees 10 fully called up, held by X for the non-payment of final call of 4 rupees. However, he paid application money 2 rupees, allotment money 4 rupees. These shares are originally issued at par. Please give the journal entry for forfeiture. Very simple. Just pass the forfeiture entry. Forfeiture entry is like this. It is originally issued at par is given to you. So no worries. You are going to remove the securities premium from the question. You are going to pass this particular entry. Now the first question is how much? यहाँ पे face value is 10 rupees. He is also given fully called up. So 10 rupees का 10 rupees है. How many shares are there? 30,000 shares into 10 rupees. What is it? 30,000 shares into 10 rupees. So 3 lakh rupees is the actual value that you have to debit the share capital with. In this, he says they have not paid the final call. So 30,000 into 4 they have not paid. So 1,20,000. आप इस दोनों का बैलेंसिंग फिगर 1,80,000 यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली ले सकते हो बट नो मैडम आई ऑल्सो वांट टू सी हाउ इट इज कमिंग सो इट विल बी एप्लीकेशन प्लस अलॉटमेंट 2 + 4 ऑलरेडी पे हो चुका है सो 30,000 into 6 is 1,80,000 so this is the number of shares forfeited. How many number of shares? Being 30,000 shares forfeited that are issued at par. पार का मीनिंग क्या है? प्रीमियम नहीं है क्वेश्चन पे, एंड दिस इज अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन. व्हाट इज दिस क्वेश्चन? इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 10. Just pass the four feature entry. Clear, everybody? I'll give you 1 minute. Please go through. In this, I have not done anything specifically, specially. It is just share capital, four feature entry. एक ही pass किया है. It is being issued at par. Called up fully हुआ है. So I'm taking 10 rupees into 30,000. इसमें नहीं pay हुआ है last call. So 1,20,000, 30,000 into 4. Pay हो चुका है 30,000 into 6. 30,000 into 6. Yeah. Okay. Now let us go to the illustration number 11. Very, very important. मैंने जो कुछ भी variation आपको बताया है, that is going to come here now, which is illustration number 11. X Limited forfeited 20,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. 8 rupees called up. तो यहाँ पे call up हुआ है lesser than the face value. So you should take which amount on the debit side? Madam, 8 rupees, madam. Good. For the non-payment of first call money at rupees 2 each. So 2 rupees out of 8 rupees, 2 rupees payment नहीं किया है. बाकी 6 rupees which is application में 2, allotment में 2 को pay किया है. Okay, give the four feature entry. Very easy. Same thing I'm going to come. Number of shares are changed and the value is also changed. What is it? 20,000 shares. Okay. Then I'm going to multiply that with 10 rupees. No. Called up value. In that, how much is not paid? 2 rupees is not paid. That means how much is paid? Application and allotment put together, it comes to 2 plus 4. So 6 rupees pay हुआ है. So here it is 1,60,000. Here it is 40,000. And here it is 1,20,000. Being 20,000 shares of shares forfeited, where the called up value is 8. Where the called up value is 8. So this is one illustration which I spoke to about the variation. मैंने बताया ना, when the called up value is lesser than the face value, please consider and please take only that particular value. Okay. Please take only the called up value, whichever is less. That is this particular question, illustration number 11. Now, illustration number 12. Here, premium is coming in the question. Please see. Okay, when premium is coming, what should I do? X Limited forfeited 5,000 equity shares of 100 each, fully called up, which were issued at a premium of 20%. That means 100 rupees into 20%. 20 rupees premium में issue हुआ है. उसमें से क्या हुआ? How it is being payable? Please see. The application 20 allotment, application में 20, allotment में 50 including the premium, and first and final call is 50. तो 20, 50, 50, 120 का मैच हो रहा है. Only application money was paid in the respect of past the journal entries for forfeiture. So the first thing is, when you are writing the entry, before you can write the entry in the illustration number 12, clearly write what it is. Okay. Let us first break down the question and write it here in this format. How many shares? 5,000 shares I have to forfeit at the rate of 100 plus 20% is this. So 20, 50, 50. So 120. Where is the premium collected? Here. 30 plus 20. Okay. Now I have to forfeit the shares. I told you whenever original shares are issued at a premium and वहां पे default है, he has not paid this, he has not paid this also. So securities premium को नहीं पे किया है. Please bring that into your entry debit side. दोनों को debit करो. And 2 shares forfeited. Two call scenarios. My dear students, एक बार आप एक thing you have to understand one thing. हियर मैंने इन माई क्वेश्चंस माई प्रेजेंटेशन में मैं सभी को लेके अनपेड अमाउंट को सीधा आई एम टेकिंग टू कॉल सिनेरियर्स, बट समटाइम्स इन योर क्वेश्चन दे कैन से डोंट टेक इट टू सिंगल कॉल सिनेरियर्स. आपको यहाँ पे पेमेंट नहीं मिला है एप्लीकेशन अलॉटमेंट का इंस्टॉलमेंट, तो राइट टू शेयर अलॉटमेंट एंड देन राइट टू शेयर फर्स्ट कॉल. जहां जहां आपको जिस इंस्टॉलमेंट का पैसा नहीं मिला है, यू हैव द ऑप्शन टू राइट दैट इंस्टॉलमेंट का नेम और राइट कॉल्स इन अरियर्स। दोनों का एक ही मीनिंग है। इट मीन्स दैट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर इंस्टॉलमेंट यू हैव नॉट रिसीव्ड द मनी, उसका मीनिंग वो ही होता है। समटाइम्स इन योर टेक्स्ट बुक, इन योर प्रेजेंटेशन, आप कॉल्स इन अरियर्स के जगह पे यू कैन सी द एक्चुअल इंस्टॉलमेंट का नेम। Then also don't worry. Calls and arrears combinedly, all installments put together, we put it in that account. नहीं मैडम, मैं वैसा प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं चाहिए, देन यू सेपरेटली राइट द इंस्टॉलमेंट नेम्स, दैट्स ऑल। मैडम, अमाउंट का कुछ डिफरेंस आता है? नहीं। वॉट एवर इंडिविजुअल अमाउंट इंस्टॉलमेंट वाइज आप मेंशन कर रहे हो, उसको ऐड करने से हमारा कॉल्स इन अरियर्स में उतना ही अमाउंट विल कम। ओके, सो नाउ शेयर कैपिटल। मैडम 5000 शेयर्स, मैडम व्हाट इज द फेस वैल्यू? यहाँ पे फेस वैल्यू है 100। मैडम 5000 शेयर्स, मैडम उसके ऊपर प्रीमियम क्या है मैडम? 20। सो दिस इनटू दिस गिव्स मी 5 lakh। प्रीमियम वैल्यू 1 lakh। ओके मैडम, व्हाट ही हैज पेड? He has paid 5000 into the application money. He has paid 1 lakh, madam. How much he has not paid, madam? This and this. 50 plus 50 is 100. So 5 lakh rupees he has not paid. You can show it like this. This is one presentation. No, madam, I want to show the respective calls here itself. Okay, no problem. The same entry you will write. Instead of writing only two calls in arrears, you can write it as to share allotment. तो यहाँ पे क्या आता है? What will come here? It's only 50. So I'll change it into 50. So 2,50,000 comes here. And then I will write to share first call. वहां पे what is the amount unpaid? That is also 50 rupees. 5000 into 50. This is how it will come. ओके, इन दोनों को कंबाइन करके एक ही टाइम पे कॉल्स इन अरियर्स अकाउंट पे यू कैन शो इट। और यू कैन शो इट लाइक दिस ऑल्सो। आपके टेक्स्ट बुक पे कई जगह पे इस तरह का इंडिविजुअल इंस्टॉलमेंट का नाम लिख के दे हैव शोन द अमाउंट डिफॉल्टेड देयर। और यू कैन शो इट इन कॉल्स इन अरियर्स ऑल्सो। यू वांट टू बी वेरी श्योर एग्जाम में क्या करना है मैडम? प्लीज गिव अ नोट। Please give a note and you mention in the note stating that I have shown the entire defaulted amount in the calls in arrears account and I have not taken it to the respective calls. You can give the note also and write. Clear, everybody? So we finished illustration number 12 also. Now let us go to a question which says and which talks about forfeiture and reissue के साथ. Okay, Mr. Long, who was the holder of 2000? Okay, done. So let us go ahead with this simple problem of illustration number 14. All of you please see this. Mr. Long, who was the holder of 2000 preference shares of 100 each. Madam, यहाँ पे preference shares है, equity shares. It's okay, equity shares, preference shares. The same entries are going to come. 2000 preference shares of 100 each on which 75 rupees has been called up. तो यहाँ पे you should be careful. While you pass the forfeiture entry, you should remember, okay, 75 rupees, 100 को हटा दो, 75 rupees को लेके share capital को debit करो. Cannot has been called up, could not pay his dues on allotment first call of 25 rupees per share each. So allotment का 25, first call का 25, total 50 rupees नहीं पे किया है. So 75 rupees में just application money of 25 ही पे हुआ है. So that amount whatever he has paid is 25. Okay. Now the directors forfeited the above shares. 2000 shares को forfeit किया है, but reissued only 1500 of such shares to Mr. Short at 65 rupees per share at 75 per share. So please give the journal entries. So the first thing is illustration number 14 ka. It will be preference share capital, two shares forfeited, two calls in arrears. That Mr. Long, Mr. Short. यहाँ पे you are going to write both the things. So 2000 shares are getting forfeited. Okay, where 100 rupees but 75 called up. Application, allotment, first call. So 75 का उसने पे किया है and he has not paid this. So please come here. Two shares forfeited. Add the word preference. Two calls in arrears. कितना है? 2000 shares into 75 because this in these two whatever is less. How much he has paid? 2000 into 25. How much he has not paid? 2000 into 25 plus 25. Q madam. These two things he has not paid. So this gives you 1,50,000, out of which he has paid 50,000 and not paid value is 1 lakh. Correct? Being 2,000 preference shares forfeited for non-payment. Now I am reissuing, madam. I am reissuing 1,500 shares, madam. So what is the reissue entry I taught you? Bank account ko debit kar do and then credit the share capital account because once again it is getting, and here 1,500 share capital always face value. But how much? This is 1,500 into 65. So the remaining there is a discount or loss of 10 rupees per share. तो वो बन जाता है 1,500 into 10. So यहाँ आता है 15,000. 1,500 into 75 will give me 1,12,500. This is 92,500. 1,12,500 and 92,500. Is that clear? No, 97,500. Okay. So this is being 1,500 shares reissued. I told you, you cannot directly now take and divide, subtract the loss. आपको one last entry you should pass. वो क्या होता है? Shares forfeited account debit to capital reserve. Correct? But यहाँ पे you cannot directly subtract. क्यों madam? 2,000 shares are for cancelled, only 1,500 shares are reissued. So what should you do? Go to the working note. Proportionate amount you have to find out. For 2,000 preference shares, 50,000 was collected. For 1,500 preference shares, it will be 50,000 divided by 2,000 in 2,500. So out of this, the value will come to out of this, the value will come to 37,500. So for 1,500 preference shares, the amount in the shares forfeited credit is 37,500. Now from this, what is the loss? 15,000. So if I subtract, I get 22,500. So this 22,500 will still come here. It will still come here. Then madam, ये वाला 500 shares का remaining amount है ना, वो 12,500, वो कहाँ पे आएगा madam? It will still remain in the shares forfeited account. It will still remain in the shares forfeited account. So this is illustration number 14. So I have done the forfeiture entry for 2,000 shares, reissue entry for 1,500 shares, and I have passed the capital reserve by doing the working note. Whenever, remember, whatever shares are forfeited, same number of shares are not reissued. It is a problem. You should go and find out what is the actual proportionate value of the shares forfeited credit amount. And from that only you should subtract the loss. Okay, got it? Now I will be showing you illustration number 5 and I will give you 2 minutes. This is to do it from, okay, they are asking you to record the forfeiture and the reissue. So there are two people in this question. Two shareholders are there. I want you to carefully find out who are they and do the question. Please see here illustration number 15. Beautiful Company Limited issued 30,000 equity shares of 10 rupees each payable, 3 rupees, 5 rupees, and 4 rupees. So देखो 10 rupees is the face value, 2 rupees is the premium. Where it is given? Here it is given. So this is a question issued at premium. All the shares were subscribed. Money was due, was received except Ram holding 500 shares, who failed to pay the allotment money and call money. And Shyam holding 1,000 shares failed to pay the call money. All those 1,500 shares were forfeited. Of the shares forfeited, 1,250 shares, including whole of Ram shares, were subsequently reissued to Jadu as fully paid up at a discount of 2 rupees per share. Please do the working note separately. I will give you 3 minutes for the question and I will start working out. So here there are two people, Ram and Shyam. So here I would ask you to now focus on the four feature entries. Do separate two four feature entries, one for Ram, one for Shyam. But reissue entry, it will be one entry only because total shares में आपने 1,250 shares को reissue किया है. That I will make it in a single entry. Okay. And finally, when I come to this third one, you should show the working note separately. उसने clue दिया है किसका shares completely they have taken राम का shares. तो श्याम का shares का as a working note बना के you people have to do it correctly. I want all of you to start doing it very easy. I will give you 2 minutes. I want you people to try. I will come back in 3 minutes and do it. So in this question, when you look at the four feature, okay, we are now talking about two things. Now let's come back and then start doing the four feature entries for the two people, Ram and Shyam. So first let us write the breakdown of the entries. That is the question ka starting. Okay. So it is 30,000 shares at 10 plus 2. It is coming as 354. 354. Here it is taken with premium. Now Mr. Ram, who is holding how many shares? Ram holding 500 shares, Shyam holding 1000 shares. So Ram has not paid in the allotment and he has not paid the call money also. But Shyam has not paid only the call money. Okay. Yes. Now Ram and Shyam total put together 500 shares, 1000 shares, 1500. In this reissued, forfeited is so much. Reissued entire Ram shares you have reissued. Total 1250 has entire Ram shares. So remaining shares of Shyam reissued is only 750. This is the first thing you people have to understand. Now let me pass the four feature entry for Ram. When I do that, securities premium was also getting debited. Why? Because Ram ने पे नहीं किया है allotment से लेके. So their securities premium is there. So I will definitely debit the securities premium also. Clear? So first thing I will write here is all of you please see 500 into 10. Share capital always the face value. So 5,000. Then 500 shares into 2. That is 1,000. Now, how much he has paid? He has paid only 3 rupees. So 500 into 3 is paid. 500 into 7. No, not 7. This is 5 plus 4. 9 rupees not paid. So 1,500 paid. 4,500 not paid. So being Ram's 500 shares forfeited. Okay. Now I am coming to the next part. Okay. I'm coming here for Shyam shares. Shyam ka shares, it is share capital. Now you people tell me whether you will have to debit the securities premium. No, because he has not paid only the call money. Call may you don't have premium. So उसने allotment money pay किया है, so that will not come. Securities premium will not come. It is a normal question. Shares forfeited to calls in arrears. So यहाँ पे whenever it is not there, all of you please see 1,000 shares into 10. That's all. Always the face value 10,000. In this, how much is not paid? He did not pay 4 rupees. That is 1,000 into 4, 4,000. How much he has paid? 6,000. Can you tell me instead of taking this as balancing figure? Yes, all of you please see. On application 3 rupees and on allotment face value. Always face value. So 1,000 into 3 plus 3, which is 6,000. So being 1,500 shares of Shyam forfeited. So these are the two forfeiture entries. Okay, now this is over. Now let us go to what is the actual reissue entry. Single entry I told you reissue ka. Bank account debit, shares forfeited account debit to share capital. तो यहाँ पे शेयर कैपिटल का टोटल शेयर्स आई हैव टू टेक 1,250 into 10. That is 12,500. How much it is reissued at? It is reissued at a discount of 2 rupees. So this 10 rupees, 2,500. So it is issued at 10,000, which is nothing but 1,250 into 8. Is this clear? Now, my dear students, please see how do I calculate the final entry of shares forfeited to capital reserve? That I need to take, no? So here only, as I was talking, all of you please see the same thing here. I am now going to show you the working note. So reissued is so much, correct? Now what is the shares forfeited amount? From this entry, shares forfeited for Ram is 1500. So totally I will consider 1500. But for Shyam, 6000 rupees is for how many shares? Is for 1000 shares. So I should proportionately convert because only 750 shares are reissued. कैसे convert करते हैं? 6000 divided by 1000 into 750. So it is 6. 4500. All of you please see here. So proportionate value is 1500. Rams and proportionate Shyams is 4500. 6000 rupees actually is the total credit side minus 2500, which is the loss. So remaining 3500 will go to your capital reserve, being the capital profit on reissue made. Then, madam, what about the remaining shares? For the 250 shares, what is it? 250 shares out of the entire 6,000, 4,500 is gone. So, remaining 1,500 will still be in the shares forfeited account. It will still be in the shares forfeited account. Clear, everybody? Now we go into the next question. No time. Very quickly, let us go. I want you people to check this question. Very simple. Just write it down and all of you, please see here also there is this balance sheet presentation that they have given. Okay. In the balance sheet presentation for you people to do, you people have to do from the beginning 30,000 ka whatever shares application, allotment and first call and then forfeiture, reissue, capital reserve. वो सब आप करने से you will be able to present this extract. Okay. All of you please see इस तरह का extract होता है वो schedule 3 का and equity and liabilities under that shareholders funds, share capital नोट में दिया है reserves and surplus, current assets because cash and bank will come here. All of you please see 30,000 shares issue किया है correct, but out of which क्या हुआ है lastly क्या हुआ है I have taken forfeited and अभी तक वो 250 shares of श्याम आपने रीइश्यू किया है नहीं किया है. So please see here that 29,750 क्यों मैडम 250 shares are less here because 250 shares मैंने forfeit किया है श्याम का but reissue नहीं किया है तो my total shares will become 2,97,500 एंड उसके साथ में forfeited shares को ऐड करना है. So the format says in the share capital shares forfeited will be added with the same. So अभी 2,99,000 is there with me. And then securities premium 59,000 from all the entries together you are going to write. Capital reserve last entry से लेके you are going to write this particular value. Clear? Yes. Now please see illustration number 16. Very, very important. I'm not going to show the answer. Illustration 16. Fatafat. Please see. A holds 2000 shares of 10 rupees on which he has paid application money only. B holds 4000 shares on which he has paid 2 rupee application and 3 rupee allotment. C holds 3000 shares and he has paid application allotment first call. They all fail to pay their arrears on the second and final call and the directors for they forfeited their shares. These shares are reissued subsequently for rupees 12 fully paid up. Journalize the transactions. Just 1 minute. Just put a tabular column, all of you, A, B, C. Okay. Face value in all the three cases 10 rupees. Then what is that? Paid, not paid. वहां पे एक टेबल बना दो एप्लीकेशन अलॉटमेंट और फर्स्ट कॉल का. टेबल में एप्लीकेशन किसने पे किया है टिक कर दो, कहाँ पे नहीं पे किया है जस्ट पुट अ क्रॉस. एंड उस तरह के टेबल बनाने के बाद प्लीज ट्राई टू डू वन सिंगल फोर फीचर एंट्री. मैडम यहाँ पे सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम एक पर्सन का उस तरह का एडजस्टमेंट्स नहीं है. एवरीबडी इट इज अ प्लेन पार क्वेश्चन. सो आई वांट यू पीपल टू डू दैट. 1 minute, आई एम कमिंग. वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चन, प्लीज डू इट. So here we are now. So here now we are going to write very clearly A, B, C ka, and what is that they have done. A, B, C. Face value is 10, 10, and 10. Okay. And here we have application. What is the application money? Application money 2, allotment money 3. Okay. Application, allotment, first call, and final call. 2, 3, 3, 2. This is 2, 3, 3, 2. This person has paid only this. So he has not paid all these three. This person has paid these two, not paid this. And Mr. C has paid three and not paid this call money alone. Okay. So A holds how many shares? He holds 2000 shares. B holds 4000 shares and C holds 3000 shares. Okay. So the total number of shares are 9000 shares. And in the 9000 shares, how much is being paid? So first these people have paid, everybody has paid this money. So 9000 into 2, 18,000 on application they have paid. Okay. And here it is only 4 plus 3. That is this way. Only B and C have paid for the allotment. So 4 plus 3 is 7,000 into 2 into 3 rupees allotment ka. So this is 21,000 and here only C has paid. Please see here, यहाँ पे 4,000 shares है, यहाँ पे 3,000 है, यहाँ पे ये is this is 2,000, 4,000, 3,000. So इन तीनों के मिला के I have multiplied with this. So 18,000 application में मिला है. Allotment में this person has not paid. So 4,000 plus 3,000 only 7,000 I have received. And here it is just 3,000. 3,000 into 3 rupees. Correct? It is 9,000. कितना हुआ है? 18 plus 21 plus 9. So 48,000 rupees I have received. ये होता है shares forfeited because I am now forfeiting all of their shares. So please see here, एक ही entry है share capital account debit, 2 shares forfeited, 2 calls in arrears. Okay, share capital तीनों को मिला के एक single entry I am passing 90,000. Now shares forfeited already I have calculated, so I will take 48,000. Remaining 42,000 is calls in arrears account. Madam, we also want to know how this particular 42 has come, madam. That also you can do. It is easy. कहाँ पे आपको नहीं मिला है? Please see application छोड़ दो यहाँ पे. So it is 9,000 shares into 2 rupees, 18,000. Final call nobody has paid. And is first call में 2,000 plus 4,000. 6,000 into 3 rupees they have not paid, again 18,000. Again come to allotment. Allotment में just only A has not paid. So it is 2,000 into 3 which is 6,000. So इसका total है 42,000. That is why you put a table like this where money is received and not received. You will get the answer. Now I am reissuing to another person. Bank account debit to share capital. यहाँ पे 10 rupees का I am issuing it at 12 rupees. That is the main thing. 10 rupees face value. Extra 2 rupees I'm issuing at a premium. तो ये होता है आपका securities premium amount. So this is 9,000 into 2. So 90,000 and यहाँ पे 18,000, 1 lakh and 8,000. Do you have any loss here? No. Shares forfeited amount, nothing is there. Shares forfeited because it is issued at a profit only and that profit you have taken to securities premium. So now the entire amount will directly go to my where? To my capital reserve. So it will be shares forfeited. Account debit to the capital reserve. Where will it go to the capital reserve? 48,000. Nothing, very simple, but only making that table will be a little bit tricky, but that also is not very tricky also. Clear this particular question? Now let us go to the 17th question which they have added. I will explain it to you. Okay, but I want you people to understand. I want you people to do this particular question. Illustration number 17. Very easy actually. We will just work out the four feature. Remaining part आप work कर लीजिए. X Limited invited applications for issuing 75,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of 5 rupees. So 10 rupees का share बन गया है 15 rupees. Amount was payable 9 rupees per share, including premium. यहाँ पे देखो application के साथ ही premium include हो गया है, which is application and allotment. And balance है first call and final call पे. Applications for 3 lakh equity shares receive हुआ है and applications for 2 lakh equity shares reject हो गया है because I need only 75,000. ये क्या है 3 लाख रुपीज आपको आया है सो 2,25,000 एक्सेस सब्सक्राइब हुआ है ओवर सब्सक्रिप्शन का क्वेश्चन है उसमें से 2,25,000 में 2 लाख शेयर्स रिजेक्ट हुआ है मनी रिफंड हो गया है शेयर्स वेर अलॉटेड ऑन प्रोरेटा बेसिस टू द रिमाइनिंग अप्लीकेंट्स उसका मीनिंग है 25,000 शेयर्स वॉट एवर इज बीइंग देयर दैट इज बीइंग गिवन ऑन प्रोरेटा एक्सेप्ट हो चुका है First and final call is done, and the amount was duly received except on 1,500 shares applied by Mr. Raj. His shares were forfeited. The forfeited shares were reissued at a discount of rupees 4 per share. Okay, this particular question, shall we start working from the beginning? Okay, ये वाला क्वेश्चन करने के बाद आपका illustration number 13 you people should be able to do. So we are left out with two illustrations. One is 13 and one is illustration number 7. With that, we are completing this particular topic. Okay, just a minute. I'll become black. Okay, now this illustration 17, 75,000 shares only we need to issue. Okay, at 10 plus 5, 15 rupees. If you're taking only two are there. So in this 5 rupees is this, then 4 rupees will be the face value. Remaining is 6 rupees for the final call. Okay. Now what is happening? There is one person who is not paying 1,500 shares ka final call ka value. He is not paying. Now, how many shares are received? 3 lakh shares have been subscribed. This is a oversubscription. 2 lakh shares reject hua hai. 25,000 shares accept hua hai. Now let us see what is the entry that we have to pass. The first one is for application. Easy, it will get over. So I will do it from the beginning. Application ka first hota hai receipt entry. All of you can start working out. Bank account to equity share एप्लीकेशन एंड अलॉटमेंट इसका नेम है एप्लीकेशन एंड अलॉटमेंट टुगेदर okay now what you have to do first thing is I told you whenever you get an oversubscription question take 3 lakh rupees multiply with the actual total value so yahan pe 3 lakh shares hua hai into 9 so 227 lakhs is the value that I am getting it is a oversubscription problem being the shares oversubscribed. The next is the transfer entry. I told you in case of transfer entry, make the CBA entry. That is equity share, application and allotment, account debit to equity share capital. See, all of you, please see, there is a CBA entry here. And the beauty of the question is there is premium also in the question. So यहाँ पे I will first write securities premium also to bank because you are rejecting and to equity share first call. To equity share first call. Now this will come directly from here, 27 lakhs. Now you tell me for the equity share capital, always the face value. How many shares you want or how many shares you have issued? Only 75,000 into what is the actual face value is 5 rupees. So this comes to 3,75,000. That's all. Now the next premium is how much in that? 4 rupees is the premium. So this comes to 3 lakh rupees. Okay. This comes to 3 lakh rupees. Okay, madam. Now bank account में कितना reject हुआ है? 2 lakh shares I have rejected into how much they have paid? 9 rupees I have directly rejected. That is 18 lakh rupees I have rejected. And all of you, please see on 25,000, what will be the remaining figure? 21 lakhs, 21 lakhs, 24 lakhs, 75,000. And if you are going to subtract that from 27, it will be 2 lakh and 25,000. Here, how much I'm going to adjust? 2 lakh and 25,000, right? How, madam, 2 lakh and 25,000? Because that is the amount that I am taking and I am adjusting. So how that will come here? 25,000 into 9 rupees I have received extra, correct? So when I do this, I will get 2 lakh and 25,000. So this is nothing but being the amount refunded and adjusted. Very important entry. This entry you have to be very surely thorough of. Just give me a moment. Just look at this entry. I'm coming. So यहाँ पे देखो what is the thing? Bank account I have received 27 lakhs, but 27 lakhs पे I have refunded 18 lakhs. Remaining 9 lakhs का क्या क्या हुआ है? For this particular installment, I need 75,000 shares into 9. But ये 9 इसमें से face value and premium है. So what did I do? Okay, I have written it opposite. Premium is face value is 4, premium is 5. So let me change it 3 lakhs, madam. 75,000 shares into 4 is 3 lakhs, which is share capital. 75,000 into 5 is premium, which is 3 lakh and 75,000. ये वाला reject हुआ है. How much I have accepted? 25,000 into 9. हो गया है. This is the first thing. Now for the final call, first will be the transfer entry. That will be share final call account debit to share capital, correct? तो अभी what is the amount? This will go away from the question with the first entry over. The next one, 75,000 into 6. So 75,000 into 6 gives me 4 lakh and 50,000. Correct? 4 lakh and 50,000, 4 lakh and 50,000. So this is the transfer entry made. Now, how much you are going to ask from the people? All of you, please see. How much you are going to ask from the people? Here only you are going to write this entry. All of you, please see here. Bank account debit to equity share final call. All of you, please see here. Equity share final call. Already 4,50,000. You have with you 2,25,000. So the remaining 2,25,000 only you are going to ask. And even in that, there is a calls in arrears. What is the calls in arrears? All of you, please see here. The calls in arrears amount is 1,500. All of you, please see here. 1,500. Hmm. 1,500 shares is there, but actually there is a small working note here that we have to do. Okay, we need to find out something called as the applied is to allotted ratio. Okay, kya? What we have to find? Applied is to allotted ratio. How many shares you have applied? 3 lakh shares you have applied, correct? You have applied how many shares, ma? You have applied for 3 lakh shares, but you have been getting how much shares as the value? You have been getting 2 lakh. 2 lakh is being rejected. So you have actually got only 75,000 shares, correct? You have got out of 3 lakh, you have got only 75,000 shares. So you need to find out the ratio here because this person says 1,500 shares that he has got. It is receive except applied by Mr. Raj. All of you please see this 1,500 shares is nothing but applied shares by Mr. Raj. That means what, madam? Applied means he would have applied for excess, but we have done a pro rata adjustment. Correct? No, we have done a pro rata adjustment. When we do pro rata adjustment like this, you people have to very, very, very carefully look into whether the shares given to you are applied or adjusted. So, based on that, you have to find out how many shares have been allotted to him actually. Okay. How many shares are allotted to him actually? So the first step is we have to go to the working note. In the working note, number of shares allotted will be like this. In the working note, the number of shares allotted will be like this. Why are you taking like this? See here, all of you please see here. If I have taken 3 lakh shares as applied, correct? In this, how much I've rejected, ma'am? I have rejected how many shares? I have rejected 2 lakh shares I have rejected, correct? So that means I have allotted how much more, how many shares to that person? I have allotted actually 1 lakh shares to him. All of you please see here. That means this can also be written as out of 3 lakhs जो कुछ भी मैंने reject कर दिया है, remaining is nothing but I have actually taken it to be the shares, number of shares that they have applied for, and then I have taken 75,000 shares as allotted. So here always please see here, applied is to allotted, remove whatever has been rejected. Correct? 3 lakhs they have applied, but I have rejected what? 2 lakh shares मैंने reject कर दिया. तो in effect में they have applied for 1 lakh shares and I have given them only 75,000 shares. So 1,500 shares apply किया है. How much I have allocated? So 1,500 divided by 1,500 divided by 1 lakh. This into this divided by this. Divided by into 75,000 divided by 1 lakh rupees. So 1,500 into 75,000 divided by 1 lakh rupees. So how much actually I have been allotted? All of you please see. 1,125 shares I have been allotted. That means what? 1,500, even though he has applied, I did not give him the entire shares, correct? No, I did not give him the entire shares. So all of you please see whenever there is a question like allotted, applied is to allotted comes into the picture, you people need to understand. With Mr. X, he has paid us this particular money, correct? How much money he has paid and how much is there excess? His money with us excess will be there. Because why? He would have paid, all of you please see, he would have paid for 1,500 shares, he would have paid 9 rupees. That is already his money with us will be to the extent of 13,500. Actually, he has paid 13,500. In that, towards the application and allotment, how much money you would have taken? 1125 into 9 rupees you would have already taken. So this 1125 into 9 rupees is how much? So 1125 into 9 rupees is 10,125. Correct? Madam, he applied for 1,500, so he would have paid 9 rupees. So 13,500 he actually paid. But we have allotted only 1,125 shares. Why are you telling only 1,125 shares? Because we have done pro rata adjustment. 2 lakh shares we returned. But for the entire 1 lakh shares, we have allocated 75,000. इसको हम बोलते हैं applied is to allotted. So the meaning is a person who has applied for 1,500 did not get full 1,500. He got lesser than that value. So wherever this lesser value or there is a pro rata adjustment given to you in the question and you are allocating or you are allotting lesser number of shares and calls in arrears is coming, you people should be very careful to open this calls in arrears का working note जहां पे आप क्या करते हो जो कुछ भी अप्लाइड वाला शेयर्स है उसके हिसाब से यू विल मल्टीप्लाई द अमाउंट रिसीव्ड एंड वॉट एवर इज अलॉटेड उतना ही आपने अलॉट किया है ना सो द रिमाइनिंग ऑफ 3,375 rupees is there excess money with you. Now for the final call from Mr. X, how much you need? 1,125 into 6 rupees we need from him. 1,125 into 6 gives me 6,750 rupees I need from him. But already how much is money I there? It is there with me. 3,375 is already there with me. So the remaining is how much? 3,375 he has not paid. 3,375 he has not paid. So my dear students, whenever you get a total question in which there is a pro rata adjustment. And after pro rata adjustment, if you are getting a calls in arrears, then you need to go and open a small working note. Applied is to allotted, they will give you. In this question specifically, they said applied shares. Then you should accept and you should calculate what are the allotted shares because higher number they would have applied. I would have given only a lower number. Since there is a mismatch there, I need to find out how many shares are allotted. उसके लिए step 1 applied is to allotted. Here 3 lakh is applied, no madam. But why are you considering only 1 lakh? Because in 3 lakh already 2 lakhs I have rejected. तो remaining 1 lakh accept किया है but उसके against I have given only 75,000 shares. So ratio बन जाता है. So Mr. Raj or Mr. X I'm talking. Mr. Raj was applied for 1,500 shares using this ratio like what we did now proportionate का किया है ना working note. Same way when you do it is 1,125 shares he has received. So the differential shares he has not been received. That means excess amount, his money is there with us. So that money we will first try to adjust it towards our final call. उसके बाद भी जो कुछ भी बाकी चाहिए, that only we will ask from him. And for that we are going to pass this particular entry. Okay. So it will be 2,21,675. 2,21,675. So this is being the calls in arrears made. Okay, being the amount received except the calls in arrears. अभी हम क्या करना है? We are now supposed to pass which entry? We are supposed to pass the four feature entry. Is becoming black and black and black. What is the four feature entry for Mr. Raj? It is the same thing. Share capital account debit. Two shares forfeited. Two calls in arrears. Okay. Two calls in arrears. So my dear students, share capital is 1125 into 10 because इसने premium का amount pay किया है. So remove that. 11,250. Now calls in arrears you have already calculated at 3,375. What you have calculated already? 3,375 आपने calculate किया है calls in arrears. Correct? You have already calculated calls in arrears at 3,375. So my dear students, always in this kind of problems, take the shares forfeited account as balancing figure. Because already you know you have calculated this 3,375, no? So now why should you break your head as how much he has paid and all of that? So leave that and just take the balancing figure. So 11,250 minus 3,375 will give you 7,875. How much is the value? 7, 8, and 7, 5. Being the shares forfeited. Okay. Now let us go and do our what account? And forfeited shares were reissued at a discount of 4 rupees. So when you're doing the reissue, what is the entry that will come? Bank account debit, the same thing. Discount of 4 rupees means there is a loss here that I have to take from the shares forfeited. Correct? The entire shares are being reissued. So no problem. So when we do that, it will be bank account debit shares forfeited account because it is being given for a loss to share capital. So 1125 into 10. This is 1125 into 4. This is 1125 into 6. 11,250. 1125 into 4 is 2,500. So this is 5,000. And this comes to 6,250. Okay. This comes to 6,250. Okay. This is 4. Okay. This is not 5,000. This is 4,500. 2,250. Okay. 4,500. Correct. And this comes to 7,000, 6,750. Okay. 6,750. And finally, we are supposed to do the capital reserve entry. What is the capital reserve entry? Shares forfeited account debit to share to capital reserve. How much it is? 7,875 minus 4,500. So it gives me again 3,375, 3,375. That's all. So this is the way that we have to solve in the case of a particular question that is given and it is talking about excess shares I have applied for, but I have allotted only a lesser number. So wherever a pro rata allotment is made and you have calls in arrears, you have to be very careful to find out how much is the actual excess amount of the shareholder that is pending with you. Okay, excess of the shareholders amount, what is actually pending with you. So this is illustration number 17. Now we go to the illustration number 13. We will go to the illustration number 13, wherein the same question has come in a much simpler case. Okay, in a much simpler way they have asked, but it is the same concept of where you have to do this working note. Mr. Shami has applied for देखो यहाँ पे applied for 1,000 shares, paying application money but has been allotted only 600 shares. The shares have a face value of 10 and a premium of 2 rupees, which are payable as allotment, 5 rupees including premium, and on the final call 5. Now, in case Mr. Shami does not pay the allotment money and final call, his shares are forfeited. Then, what will happen to the what will happen, or how will you pass this particular entry? Okay, very simple. So he has applied for 1,000 shares. Okay, he has applied for, let us say, 1,000 shares. Applied is to allotted. The same ratio will come here also. He has applied for he has applied for 1,000. He has been allotted only 600 shares. Okay, how it is split? 10 plus 2, 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 2 rupees allotment by 5 and 5 on the final call. This is how it is split into 12. And यहाँ पे 3 plus 2. Okay. And this person is not paying, is his allotment also not paying. First call also is not paying. That means he paid only this much. So please see here, what is the excess money that we have? His excess money, it is nothing but 1,000 shares into 2. I paid 2,000, but only allotted 600 shares. So 600 into 2, 1,200 I would have taken. So the excess money that is there with him, or his money that is there with us, is 800 rupees. Okay. Now, how much he is supposed to pay? 600 shares into 5 he is supposed to pay. 3,000 he has to pay for, let us say, the first allotment. But has he paid 3,000? No. But his money, how much we have along with us? Already excess money of 800 is there with us. So 2,200 here he has made a default. And next, what is this particular value? 5 rupees he is supposed to pay for the final call. And here there is 3,000, that is 600 shares into 5 for the final call also he has not paid. So this is the total calls in arrears is nothing but 5,200. So how much he has paid means how will you take? He has paid total shares forfeited account. He has paid nothing but this 2,000 rupees. Correct? No? 2,000 rupees he has paid. No? So directly how will I take, and I will show it here. Or if you're going to look at the presentation that is given to you in the textbook, all of you please see. After making this, see here, share capital account will be 600 shares. Okay, that into 10 rupees. Okay, securities premium, since he has not paid the allotment money, so 600 into 2. All of you please see here, shares forfeiture 2,000. I told you 1,000 shares he has applied. On that he would have paid the application money 2 rupees. So that will directly go there. And यहाँ पे देखो, share allotment का 2,200. Why? Because even though I need 3,000, his excess money of 800 is there with me. So 3,000 minus 800 is 2,200. Share final call का पूरा का money चाहिए, because there is no excess money that is left with us. So this comes to 3,000. Clear everybody? Yes. So with this, we are actually completing. There is one particular illustration, illustration number 7. But before we can do that, we will just go through the MCQs of this chapter. And there is one more question. Yeah. Apart from this, we have finished the shares that are issued for cash. Okay. But there can be shares issued for consideration other than cash also. How, madam? Where, madam? Sometimes when I want to purchase few assets from the other person, say the creditors or the vendors, and I can tell them ki I don't have money right now. So what you can do is you people can take the shares of my company. So in return for an asset that is given to you, you can, instead of paying cash because you don't have cash, equivalent to that, you can also issue the shares. So when shares are issued, not for raising money, but in exchange for something in kind. Here, why are you giving the shares? Because you are getting an asset in return, you are giving the shares, correct? So I am taking the shares from you. And now here I am still, even though I don't get the cash in return, I am getting an asset in return, correct? So that is when we call the concept of issue of the shares for consideration other than cash. Here also it will be the same thing. When you issued shares for cash, we did the entry bank account debit to share capital, correct? Here instead of getting money inside, we are getting an asset. Very clearly, we are getting an asset. So what will be the entries passed? So ultimately it will be asset is coming inside. So debit asset account, and then credit share capital because you're issuing shares to them. So share capital increases, asset balance increases. But here they're breaking it into two different entries. What are they? First, when you're purchasing the asset, asset account debit to vendor account. Vendor is nothing but the creditor who has sold the asset and you have purchased the asset from him. And next, vendor account debit to the equity share capital, because now the vendor or the creditor, you are no longer treating him as a creditor, but you have issued the shares to him. So your share capital value increases. Okay. Now let us see that particular example that is given to us here. All of this we finished. X Limited was incorporated with an authorized capital of 90,000 equity shares of 10 rupees each. That means 9 lakh shares is the total. 9 lakh rupees is the total share capital. The company purchased land and building from Y Company Limited for 4 lakhs payable in the paid up shares, and the balance shares were issued to the public. Please see here, asset to the vendor account. How much? 4 lakhs and 4 lakhs. First entry. The second entry is simple, the vendor account to equity share capital 4 lakhs and 4 lakhs. This is because the 4 lakh value of the land and buildings you have purchased from him, not given cash. You don't have the cash, so you are not giving him the cash. What you are giving them instead? Share capital. So this is issue of shares for consideration other than the cash. And finally, it will be bank account to Equity share application and allotment, and equity share application allotment to equity. What is this meaning, ma? It is nothing but the remaining out of 9 lakhs, 4 lakhs I have given for the land and building people, but the remaining 5 lakhs I issued to the public for the subscription and they have given me cash. So here I don't know how much application allotment. So I have combined and I have written just the receipt entry and the transfer entry. Receipt entry and the transfer entry I have written here together. ओके, बैलेंस शीट में कैसा दिखाई देता है? शेयर कैपिटल में टोटल 9 lakhs का वैल्यू आ गया है, but 4 lakhs in the form of asset you have received and remaining 5 lakhs in the form of cash and cash equivalents you have received. Okay, all of you please see here, excess price received over the par value of the shares should be credited to the par value over and above the actual face value of the shares is nothing but securities premium. Okay, that is one option is C. Now, point number two, the second question, securities premium amount may be utilized by a company for writing of any loss of sale of fixed asset? No. For writing of loss of any revenue nature? No. Writing of expenses discount on the issue of debentures? Yes. So the answer for the second question is C, because as per section 52, securities premium can be used for 5 uses. In that 5 uses, only C matches with that. Okay. When shares are forfeited, listen, it is a forfeiture entry. Share capital account is debited with the share capital account is debited with the called up value and share forfeiture account is credited with the amount received. So the answer here is paid up capital or no. Paid up or called up, whichever is less. So when that kind of a question comes, we will take for the safer side always called up value, no? So see here, called up value of the shares called up value of the shares forfeited, yes. Calls in arrears of the shares forfeited are no. Share forfeiture account is always credited with the amount received. So the correct option for the third question is C. So share capital is debited with the called up value of the shares forfeited and share forfeiture account is credited with the amount received. Okay, the amount received. All of you please see here the next question, important question. T Limited proposed to issue 6,000 equity shares of rupees 100 each at a premium of 40%. The minimum application money to be collected is always 5% of the face value. So 5% of the face value is nothing but 100 rupees into 5%, minimum 5 rupees to be collected. Okay. Dividends are usually paid as a percentage of what? Dividends are usually paid as a percentage of, how will you calculate the percentage? Or how will you give the percentage? Dividends are usually paid as a percentage of, okay, I'm still under the remembrance that you people will be answering. Okay, dividends are usually paid as a percentage of your paid up capital. Because what? How much ever you are paying up on that, only you will be able to calculate how much of the dividend you are supposed to pay. Option number 5, C. Question number 5, option is C. Okay. Please see here, as per SEBI guidelines on the issue of shares, application money should not be less than 25% of the issue price of the shares. So here there are two things. The total amount should not be less than 5% of the face value or 25% of the issue price. Okay. Now come to the seventh question. Okay, let us see the eighth question. Securities premium is presented as a part of reserves and surplus. So securities premium is shown as a part of reserves and surplus. Schedule 3 prescribes the format for financial statements. Schedule 3 talks about how balance sheet, part A, part B, how balance sheet and the P&L account should be prepared. So it talks about the financial statements, not directors or auditors report. Dividend on dash shares have to be paid before the dividend on dash shares. First preference shares and then equity shares. So the option 10 is B. Preference shares are dash unless otherwise stated. Preference shares, the types of preference shares I have not told you. So preference shares are generally non-participating. Okay, non-participating, non-convertible, non-accumulative, all of this will be coming. So here non-participating is alone there. So it is a so that is what we have to consider. All of you please see here. G Limited acquired assets worth 7,50,000 from H by the issue of shares at 100%, at 100 rupees at a premium of 25%. The number of shares to be issued by G Limited to settle here In the example of illustration 18, whatever we have seen, there simply they have given this is the total value of the land and building, 4 lakhs, take it. But if the value is not given directly, then how many number of shares, how will you find out? Very simple. It is always the value of the asset divided by the issue price. That is nothing but value of the asset divided by the issue price. Here the value of the asset is 7 lakh and 50,000, correct? Value of the asset is 7 lakh and 50,000. What is the issue price? It is here. Value of the asset divided by the issue price is the formula. Now this issue price here it is value plus premium, which is 100 plus the premium here that is given to you is 25% in the question, 125. So 7 lakh 50,000 divided by 125 rupees. So what will be the answer? I think 6,000 or yeah, 6,000 shares will be the answer. So for that question, 6,000 shares, A is the answer. Okay. And for this particular chapter, I want all of you to please prepare or go ahead with your practical questions. Okay. See here the practical questions. First one, X Limited invited application for 10 lakh shares of 100 each, and all the shares are applied for allotted. Shareholders 20,000 paid whole of amount due with allotment. Journalize and see that the interest is paid. So this is a calls in advance का concept. 12% होता है उसका interest. Allotment के साथ first call final call का amount भी दे दिया है. So here there will be interest. So first interest will be from 1st May to 1st of October. That is May, June, July, August, September. 5 months का interest आपको pay करना है. This 30 rupees into 20,000 shares into 12 percentage for 5 months. For the second one, final call, when they are doing next February, May. So 1st May, they have collected the money. So from 1st May to 1st of February, that is May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. 9 months ka amount you are supposed to calculate for the remaining 20 rupees value. So 20,000 into 20 into 12% into 9 by 12. So in dono ka, if you're going to compute and you are passing the entries, it is over. It is a simple question. Okay. A Limited with an authorized capital divided into so much. Okay. When the application money 10,000 shares was duly given, he has, okay, issued 10,000, received 10,000. All the amounts have been received. Allotment money, when the first call money was paid, 1,000 shares were not paid. Okay, and another shareholder 500 shares paid the entire amount. So this is similar to your illustration number 9, where calls in arrears is also there, calls in advance is also there. So whenever you get that amount or that particular thing, you will ask me, Madam, should I compute the interest simultaneously? If you have dates given to you, then you can compute. Or if number of months are given also, you can compute. Okay. But if nothing is given to you, then how will you compute? So here, just pass the journal entries and give a note that give a note that here allotment only came. The other one was not there. Okay. You cannot compute the interest in the absence of the information given for the dates and months. Okay. Now, A Limited forfeits 100 shares of rupees 10 each fully paid up. Shareholder failed to pay the first call money of 4 rupees and second call money of 4 rupees. Give the journal entry. So here 8 rupees is not paid, 2 rupees is paid. 4 feature entry. Kali 4 feature entry. Very, very easy. Please do it. And the fourth one, B Limited issued 20,000 equity shares of rupees 100 each at a premium of 20. So 100 plus 20 payable as 50, 50, 20. Okay. Applications are received for 24,000 shares. So 20,000 shares issued, subscribe 24,000. Excess 4,000 shares are there. How will you deal with the excess 4,000 shares? I have issued rejections. I have rejected. So 4,000 मैंने reject कर दिया. No prorata, nothing. Mr. A, the holder of 150 shares, failed to pay the allotment and call money. His shares were forfeited. So forfeiture tak you have to pass the entries and show it. So I think with this particular concept is done. And in the next class, that's on Friday, I will be taking I will be going ahead with the next bonus and the rights issue. Okay. So that is one of the most important concept. Why I'm taking along with this, that particular unit is it has relevance with your equity. So I'll be completing that also. Clear. And we will also discuss about the exam questions. How did it come? The pattern, January and September ka. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Priya.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you, Ranmi, for your time and for such a nice session. Yes, students, I especially came to you here to tell you the importance of this chapter. At this stage, why this issue forfeiture, why Ranmi ma'am is giving so much time to this chapter dedicatedly, because we have seen in our question paper, usually we get a 10 to 15 mark question only on this topic. So, four features and reissue, including this calls in errors, calls in advance, and interest on calls in errors and advance, all these topics come up for 10 to 15 marks every time. So for this and for the commerce background students, I'm sure you have studied this in your class 12th also, 11th or 12th also. So it would be more easier for you. Please students, I think we have around 17th illustrations and along with that six test your knowledge questions. Please practice all these questions at home from your own hands. Only writing journal entry will not suffice for these questions. Usually the question comes to ask journal entries as provide an extract of balance sheet. So what we do is we practice only journal entries and the amount. We calculate the amount. We don't practice the extract of balance sheet. What extract, how the share capital should be shown, reserve and surplus, what amount should come. So these is also important, and this also carries marks. Usually we have seen the question is being asked in a combined manner, asking the journal entries as well as preparing an extract of this balance sheet. So please practice that also. Please identify how that reserves and surplus and share capital is being bifurcated within authorized, issued share capital and paid up share capital. See that also, and come up with the good marks, because presentation in this question along with the journal entries with narration, the narration also carries marks because the question is being asked for journal entries only. And calculating the correct figure carries at most marks. So, in case of any query, you may ask Hiranmi ma'am for this. And yes, she has already told you that we'll be taking bonus issue and right issue, because we have that redemption of preference shares and redemption of debentures is also pending. We'll be doing all the concepts over here. Okay, all the
Yes.
very best. Is there anything else that has been left, Hiranmi?
Sorry?
Is there anything else that has been left
No, no.
regarding this chapter? Okay, okay,
नहीं नहीं
all
एक
right.
है वो illustration 7 and I've asked them to practice that along with the practice questions also. So that particular question next class when I do the bonus and the rights issue, no? So
Yeah,
I will be solving that question ka working note. The other entries I think they'll be able to pass, no worries. So with that we
yes.
finished all the illustrations covered in this particular unit.
Yes. One piece of advice, students, please, whenever you practice the question, the way she has asked you to do question number 7, illustration 7, please do it in the register or notebook, preparing proper journal format. This way, you'll be able to identify your speed for doing that question. See, accounting paper comes up with the speed also. So you have to be very good at your speed. You should be able to write fastly and properly, along with the narrations that I've told you categorically in advance. So that way, please solve the question. Whenever you're solving the question, do not only just read and just speak the answers. Please write it. Please write it, preparing the proper formats. Okay. All
Yeah.
the very best, students. Thank you so much. We'll be coming on
Thank
the Friday
you.
for the next class. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you, Ranmay.
Thank you, Priya. Bye bye.
Bye.